Hello there, and a warm welcome to this Orla DVD presentation. My name is Paul Carman and I'm the General Manager of Orla in the UK. And I'm well aware that to many people the name Orla is synonymous with organ product, two keyboard instruments rather than single keyboard instruments. But for many years now the Orla company has produced some incredible single keyboard product. And today I have the pleasure, indeed privilege, to introduce to you the new flagship single keyboard from Orla, the Orla Sport 2. It is without doubt the finest and most powerful single keyboard product that Orla has ever produced. And I would like to spend the next 20 to 25 minutes in your company proving to you why I believe that statement to be true. All I ask of you is to sit back and enjoy. Firstly, I truly hope that you enjoy the wonderful sounds that this incredible keyboard is capable of. But also I hope you enjoy looking at some of the wonderful features of this product. Indeed, some of the rather unique features of this product that, to me, make this product worthy of its place alongside any top-end keyboard product on the market today. So sit back and enjoy, and I look forward to chatting to you later. The Sport 2 features a 61-note touch-sensitive keyboard and comes housed in an elegant wood-trimmed cabinet. It also features a very attractive wood grain effect fascia panel. The information display contains one of the largest fonts found on any keyboard on the market for ease of reading. And all of the various sections of the keyboard have been colour-coded for ease of use. The built-in USB drive enables bulk storage of song, style or registration data. Now the Sport 2 that I'm playing here is mounted on the wood home pack stand with integrated amplification system. I've felt for many years now that a lot of top-end keyboards have been let down by the lack of quality amplification that's supplied with them. Which is why we at Orla have taken a long time to source an amplification system that we truly believe does justice to this type of quality product. The two speakers that are mounted here on the home pack stand are two 60-watt Soundsation speakers, which provide an excellent four-way amplification system for the Orla Sport 2. If you want, you can purchase the keyboard as just a standalone keyboard product, and believe me, it's equally at home on a variety of different keyboard stands. And despite the home appearance and the robust look of this keyboard, in terms of size and weight, it is very, very similar to many of the top-end keyboards currently on the market. Now, less of me talking, let's get on and have a listen to what this keyboard will do. I'm sure we're all familiar with keyboard styles and how they work. And indeed, here on the Orla Sport 2, we have a wealth of musical styles covering many, many musical genres. Right from the traditional ballroom styles through to superb Latin styles and some great new modern styles. So why not join me and have a listen to some of these great onboard styles. This Fox swing style perfectly captures the sound of some of the great vocal harmony groups. Or maybe the sound of Philadelphia is more to your liking, and this great Philly style, wonderful for those 70s disco numbers. This 8-beat style is just one of many excellent ballad-type styles. How about this great driving cha-cha style? Just one of many authentic dance rhythms to be found on the Orla Sport 2. This beautiful love song style is simply great for those 6/8 and 12/8 ballads. Changing sounds is easy using the conductor buttons. Of course, all onboard styles have superb intros and endings.
One, two, three, four.
Remember those great days of the jive? Well, this authentic rock and roll style will bring it flooding back to you. take a listen to this great happy feeling gospel shuffle style. Style. Again, this is just one of many big band and dance band styles to be found on this instrument. Listen to this more modern style, a great 16-beat style with superb lead trumpet. Well, there you have it. Just a few of the many wonderful styles that the Orla Sport 2 has to offer. And I assure you, whatever your preference is in music, there will be styles here to suit. But you know, as wonderful as styles are, we can all from time to time get a little bit tired of them. They become predictable. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to make some easy yet effective changes to those styles, and in a way almost create new styles for ourselves? Well, we can do that very easily on the Orla Sport 2 here, because each section, including the style section here, has its own set of volume controls out on the panel, instantly accessible. Now, to illustrate the point that I'm trying to make, I'm going to choose another style now. It's a style we haven't listened to so far. It's called the Ballad 8, and it's found in the ballad bank there. I'm going to press the automatic setup, and we'll now listen to the style in its entirety as the instrument suggests we use it, like this. So in its own right there, it's a lovely style, a very usable style. But there are two elements there that I might like to take out to almost create, like I said, a new style. I don't always like the drums playing, so very simple. I can go over to the drums volume control here. It's got 3 lights on. It's about halfway up in terms of volume at the moment. So I'm going to press the button at the bottom here to put all of those lights out. So we now know that the drum volume is down to 0. So we're not going to hear the drums. I'm going to do exactly the same for accompaniment 1. Now what I've been left with is a beautiful guitar arpeggio, which I'm going to combine with a nice vocal sound in the left hand, and it sounds totally different to what we had a moment ago. Have a listen. What we've done is totally transform that style just by adjusting 2 volume controls. And the fact that they're out there right in front of me makes that very easy to do. And you know, while we're talking about volumes, there is another problem which has been inherent in a lot of portable keyboards over the past few years, and that is, as styles have got better, unfortunately they've tended to get a little bit busier and in turn a little bit louder. And often I hear people complain that when they use the style, it sounds fine on its own, but as soon as you try to play with it, the style section, the accompaniment section, is too loud for the right hand. Now, most instruments today, as with the Orla Sport 2, have touch sensitivity. And as a manufacturer, you can't predict or preempt how everybody plays with regard to touch. Some people have a very light touch. Some of the ex-piano players maybe have a slightly harder touch. Now, if you have quite a light touch, a gentle touch, you may find from time to time that, yes, the left hand may overpower the right hand a little bit. If this happens on most portable keyboards, you can remedy it short term, but that may involve going into the screen and adjusting quite a number of volume controls to balance everything out. And that's fine short term, but then when you go off and you select another rhythm with another preset, it will revert to the volume settings that were programmed into that particular preset at the time, and that may be that it will take it back to the unbalanced situation. When we're confronted like this with things at Orla, what we try to do is sit down and look for easy solutions to common problems. And what we've come up with over here, where the data arrows are, the left and the right arrow have the words above them, left volume. And that's literally what they do. They adjust the volume of the left hand section of the keyboard. Now that will include the drums, all the accompaniment parts, a left hand voice if you're using one, and the bass as part of the style is also included in that. So if I was to take another rhythm now, let's take the foxtrot rhythm, the good old standard foxtrot rhythm. I'm going to play a little bit for you in a situation where I believe that the left hand is overpowering the right hand a little bit. So I'm going to play quite gently with the right hand. Have a listen. I hope you noticed something there. On the first variation, it wasn't too bad because there's not an awful lot going on in the left hand. But when I went to one of the more advanced variations, all of a sudden, to my ears, the left hand was dominating the right hand. So how do we sort this? Well, if we go to our 2 buttons that say left volume, the one on the left will actually reduce the volume of the left hand, and it takes everything that I mentioned earlier down in unison relative to the right hand. Now the default setting is 116. I'm going to try and take this down to somewhere around the 100 mark. Now let's try the same thing and see whether that has sorted the problem out. Yeah, I think it has. It's now much better balanced for the way I play. Now, if you are one of those players that has a relatively light touch, having switched that volume down, yes, we've sorted it out on that particular preset, but wouldn't it be nice now if we went elsewhere and the keyboard actually remembered that setting? Well, the good news is, on the Orla, it does. So as long as the instrument is switched on for the whole of the time I'm having a session here playing the keyboard, it will remember my preferred volume setting for the left hand. Regardless of any preset or automatic setup that I go to, it remembers that setting. A wonderful little feature and a very, very important feature. I'm going to move on now to another feature of this instrument that to me makes it incredibly powerful in terms of registrations and being able to easily change from one sound to the other. So join me in a couple of minutes when we really do lift the lid off what this keyboard is capable of. Well, so far we've just had a look at a few of the styles on the Orla Sport 2, and I think you're probably getting the idea by now that if you were to press the automatic setup button, you'll get a nice and appropriate registration, also set at an appropriate tempo. We can make variations to the sound using the conductor section. Over here you've seen me do it once or twice. We've got access to 4 different sounds which we can either use individually or mix together. The important thing is we can bring these in and out as and when we want to, not when the keyboard says we have to. But wouldn't it be nice to have maybe access to more than just those 4 sounds and the mixes that they make? Wouldn't it be nice to have access to a whole palette of wonderful sounds that we could use with any of these styles? Well, on the Orla Sport 2 we can do, because we can utilise a section on the right hand side of the keyboard here called the automatic organ section. Here you'll find 96 professionally made registrations, all divided up into easy to find categories, such as the vintage flute bars, the virtual theatre organ sounds, the church organ sounds, the combo section, nice little small bands, trios, quartets, etc. We've got the orchestra button and we've got the band button. So these sounds are easy to find because they're in predefined sections. Now, like I say, wouldn't it be nice to be able to combine any of those with any of the styles? Well, this is how we do it. You just follow these couple of simple stages. I'm going to select a rhythm here from the country bank called the Country 3/4, the country waltz. I'm going to press the automatic setup as my starting point. And you'll find that it gives you a nice little country guitar on the right hand to go with the accompaniment on the left hand, like this. Nice sound, but like I say, wouldn't it be nice for me to decide what sound I want with that particular style? Well, here's what we do. First of all, we switch off the automatic setup. Don't worry, because the registration of the country guitar is still there. It doesn't revert to a previous registration. I now come over to the right hand side and press the red lock button. That basically is just instructing the instrument not to deviate from that particular rhythm or that tempo, regardless of what I do now in terms of sound. So I'm going to go over to one of our categories here. I'm going to go to the vintage flute bars, which gives us access to lots of wonderful organ sounds. And incidentally, the Orla Sport 2 is the only top-end keyboard currently to still use traditional, authentic drawbars for both the right-hand section and the left-hand section. But I've chosen one of the organ presets here, 16, 8 and 4 flute, so we can now play exactly the same piece of music, but this time using an organ sound. What if we want to change to another sound? Let's try the orchestra section, and we'll go for those nice lush Mantovani strings. I'm going to go to the combo section this time. Find a nice little piano. And if we want to go back to our original sound, then simply repress the automatic setup button. Maybe I over-exaggerated there both the number of registration changes required and also the diversity of sounds required for one piece of music. But the point is, you can do it. And you can do it in a very easy way. It's very difficult with a lot of modern instruments. The manufacturers try to put as much on as possible. But to be honest, the proof of the pudding is whether you can actually access those sounds and enjoy those sounds. And at Orla, that's always been our philosophy, to give you a great wide range of sounds and styles, but to make sure it operates in such a way that you can access all of those sounds, you can access all of those styles, thus maximising the fun, the enjoyment, the pleasure you're going to get from the instrument. I'm going to take one more short break, then we'll be back and we'll look at one or two of the, what I think are superb sounds on this instrument. I look forward to seeing you in just a minute. Here we are featuring the superb grand piano sound being used across the whole keyboard. And with the optional piano sustain pedal connected, it really is a stunning piano sound. Now you will hear a couple of contrasting electric piano sounds. Again, just two of the many excellent electric piano sounds found on board. Or how about these lush symphonic strings? The Orla Sport 2 is the only keyboard currently on the market to have a selection of the Reg Rawlings theatre organ samples actually built in. Let us use some of these sounds along with the great bass to lower feature, which gives the effect of actually playing the bass pedals. Well, there you are, just a very brief look, and I do mean a brief look, at what this fabulous instrument is capable of. But I hope it's been enough to show you that the Orla Sport 2 does deserve strong consideration for anybody looking to purchase a top-end keyboard. Well, I'm going to hand over to my colleague now, Mr. Paul Wise, who is going to show you this instrument in a totally different light. He's going to play it as a true single manual organ. Now, if you're not into organs and keyboards are your scene, please carry on watching, because Paul will feature many, many more of the wonderful sounds and styles that the instrument is capable of. So again, sit back, enjoy part 2 of this DVD.
That's just been a great little run through from Paul on this new GT Sport 2 as a single keyboard, and he's been using it just as a keyboard. But unlike many other instruments of this type, this instrument, the Sport 2, can be used as a real little single manual organ. It has all of the organ facilities that you'd expect from a larger instrument just to be used with one keyboard. So we have proper bass sounds, lower keyboard sounds, 3 sets of upper keyboard sounds, lower keyboard flute bars for the organ and upper keyboard flute bars for the organ. It's a complete organ specification, and it can be played just like a little organ on one keyboard. We have the optional bass pedals connected, and we're going to use a section called the automatic setup, which Paul has used for different registrations. I'm going to use them just as an organ. And you're also going to hear some of the drum rhythms being used as well, and in most cases they're just being used as rhythms, because unlike a lot of products, the rhythms on this really work very well just as drums. They don't have to have the accompaniments and backings and other things going with them to make sense, and a lot of them are quite simple, so they're easy for most of us to stay with. So without going into things in much greater detail for the moment, I'm going to get started in just a second, and we're going to just go away and use this as a little organ so you can hear some of the lovely sounds that we're going to produce on it.
Paul is now playing the keyboard using the dedicated 13-note pedal board, which uses the bass voices on the Sport 2 to provide a bass section that plays just like that on a standard organ. Here he features some of the lovely electronic organ presets. Using the drawbars, it is easy to create organ sounds of your own, in the confidence that you will never lose the preset sounds that are given to you in the first place. some great electronic theatre organ sounds, firstly played by Paul using block chords, then using the OMC feature, which provides automatic block chording. Hear that the result is exactly the same. Now let's hear some of those wonderful mellow theatre organ sounds taken from the theatre organ presets. Notice how easy it is to change from one preset to another. Some more mellow sounds now, and again see the use of OMC, which Paul uses this time to provide a lush, theatre organ, open harmony style. So now with the OMC, now let's take you right back to the days of the cinema organ. Paul uses the lock feature this time to retain the left-hand sound when changing registrations. Now a smoking jazz organ with a great jazz guitar sound on the left hand. The American Heritage preset perfectly recreates the Alan Haven jazz sound. And now a selection of sounds from the classical organ presets. Some beautiful chapel organ sounds. Haunting solo reed stop. Now, on to the larger sound of the church organ. And finally, the majesty of a full cathedral organ. Paul is now playing a selection from the A bank of the Reality Orchestra presets, some lush string and orchestral sounds. Those beautiful Mantovani strings will now make way for the harmony strings. Now through to the vocal strings. The romantic strings. Bank B of the orchestral presets features more the sounds of the symphony orchestra. From authentic solo voices right through to the full orchestral sound. Now Paul's going to use the great slow Dixie style. Using auto chord but not auto bass, the bass line is being played by Paul on the bass pedals. The Joplin time preset shows the flexibility of this instrument, featuring piano on right hand, left hand, and indeed the bass pedals. And next, a great modern jazz flute sound. Echoes of Ray Charles now with our Rayolettes preset. How about George Shearing with our Sheer Magic preset? Or a great laid-back Benson Bossa Nova. The Sport 2 features some ultra-realistic solo voices, such as this beautiful clarinet. Or how about these swinging jazz vibes? And now the beautiful sound of the nylon guitar. Here Paul begins with the nylon guitar across the whole of the keyboard, and will then introduce the strings into the left hand using the conductor button. Now take a listen to this stunning lead saxophone with electric piano in the left hand. Next up is some of the great big band sounds. Paul is using the lock button to enable him to go from preset to preset without the rhythm or tempo changing. And now back to that incredible piano sound you heard a little bit earlier. This time Paul will show the dramatic effect of using the octave button to take the octave of the piano down. The piano has now been switched down one octave. And finally, Paul will use that same piano sound across the keyboard, but this time using live bass pedals and using the drums as just merely a rhythm unit. This gives us a great piano trio effect. demonstrations on this DVD have been played live and use no external effects. And all of the sounds, styles and presets featured are on the instrument as supplied out of the box. So there you go, that's it, the Orla Sport 2. So whether you're a keyboard player or an organ player, this instrument is sure to be able to accommodate your needs. I hope that it's inspired you to want some more information on this fabulous instrument, and full details of how to contact us to get that further information will appear on the screen very shortly. Thank you very much, and bye for now.